Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. We are here live on YouTube and Twitch and Rosales Tunes on X. And we are here to do a little bit of this live streaming, draw stream, so that we can have a look at some of the cartoon we're working on. We are working on something called Empire of the Sun, and that's a throwback to the old kind of style of cartoons and whatnot. The kind of cartoon that we highlighted when we did Swing Boat Willie. Have a look at this real quick. So we did that, and we were really inspired by it and excited to maybe explore Mickey a little bit more, at least the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey. So that's what we did. Is we've started a little cartoon, throwback to the old silent cartoons. Like if you're old enough to remember, there were cartoons like the Pink Panther that had slapstick comedy and visual gags and not a lot of dialogue exactly. So that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to feature these characters. We're going to put them in situations. In this case, Empire of the Sun, Steamboat Willie is in the city and he's having a hot day of it because the sun is pressing down on him. So he's trying to find some coolness and some relief from the heat. And that's where the comedy lies, in how he tries to overcome this menacing meanie of a character of the sun. So the sun is a character in this, and he's got a little face and smiley and so on. But if you're unfamiliar with Rosales comics or Rosales animation, take a look at our demo reel just real quick before we get started.
If you live in any of these 5 states, the government is trying to hide this from you. Affordable 2D animation is available right now.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. That was our demo reel, and that shows you a little bit of what we can do here with Rosales Animation. And today we're going to be working on Empire of the Sun. It's going to be a short film featuring Steamboat Willie as the main character, and that's what I'm calling him. I know he's Mickey Mouse, and I can call him Mickey Mouse, and all of that is public domain, but just to keep the layers of separation there, I refer to him as Steamboat Willie. I do know that the name of the boat was Steamboat Willie, and that came as a reference to Steamboat Bill, the silent film that Mickey was referencing. So I think I'm in good hands to reference the reference of a reference referencing something else. So we're good. If you hear kids in the background, that's because I've got kids, and they're enjoying their computers right now. So, but one of the things I talked about with some of the people who follow us online is whether or not we should have other public domain characters in there, and we had Felix the cat, we had Oswald the lucky rabbit, and Pete the cat. And the overwhelming favorites, as a matter of fact, equally, were Felix the cat and Oswald Rabbit. So we are going to incorporate them into the story of Empire of the Sun. In this story, Empire of the Sun, Steamboat Willie is running around trying to hide from a very aggressive sun that is trying to melt him, and oppress him with heat, as summer days do. And he's trying to find shade and some sort of relief from the sun. And therein lies the comedy as he tries to cool down. And one of the characters that we have is a shopkeeper. And that shopkeeper we are going to have as Felix the cat. Now, I have here a Felix the cat that I was working on. And here you can see that we've got some bones rigged up in Moho animation. And the bones allow you to move these character spots. Now, here is the arm, and it's just one layer. Let me zoom in real quick here. It's just one layer. It's a simple little linear tube. It's got a couple of joints here. The main thing that makes this kind of a dynamic thing, if I can get rid of this layer real quick, is the fact that he's got a hand. And this hand is also on a bone that will allow it to move around. And the hand is in a switch file. This switch file, you can choose from pointing. So he's pointing. We can flip the hand over and show the back fist. And we can show the regular fist. We can show the back of his hand opened up. And the hand open. So that's the rigging we have so far for the arm. As for the head we have different mouth shapes that we've got, where he's got a smile. It's kind of a grr, or a smile again. We'll do that. And the head base itself, here we go. The brow. Okay, so there's a sad brow. Kind of a meh brow. Up, the classic look for Felix. And we have also angry. And what I've done here is I've just kind of shown this with, just to show you what it looks like here. As we can switch back and forth between the faces. And the head, as you can see, is rigged with these dynamic bones. Now, the dynamic bones move on their own, depending on what's happening with the figure. So if the figure swings his head around, these dynamic bones will then move, and that will move the rest of the animation. And hey, Gray, glad to see you here. Glad to share my secrets with you. If you have any questions, let me know. I will try to do my best to answer them when possible. So what we've got to do, though, is we've got to now finish off this figure so that we can use him in the animation. At this point, I don't need the legs, so we won't have to do that. And the easiest way to get a second arm is to duplicate the arm and then flip that layer entirely. Oh, wrong way. And then move it into place right here and into position. Can anyone hear my cat? Let me know if you can hear my cat in the background. Place your comments below. Now, there we have two hands moving exactly the same. So he's waving, he's got his arms going, and we can show a lot of different emotions and things with this particular part of the rig. So that's good. That's all we'll need to do. But we also want to be able to close this up here. We also want to be able to move all of it together at once. So let's put some bones here. Let me make this bigger real quick so everybody can see it. We'll go full screen right here. We go. All right, so I'm going to place one bone in. Wrong one. I'll place a bone in here, and this will be the center, so I'll be able to move them up and down. Bring this up, and that should cover the torso. and then this will cover the rest of the head and neck. Now to make sure, select this bone again so that I can add this down here. Ah, wrong way. Directly from it. Now what I should be able to do now is move this, but nothing's happening there, is it? So where did I go wrong? Let's take a look at the torso. Select this, select these points, and we will not bind it to the layer, but find the points. There we go. Hit enter, and now those points should be bound down here. Still nothing. That's interesting. I wonder why that doesn't work. Hey, yo, Pops, good to see ya. Good to see you here. You're watching me learn live on this stream right here. So we got the bones here. The bone is there. I can move the bone. Nothing is moving. What if I do it here? Ah, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so they were not moving back here, but they were attached. So that's interesting. So let's move over to this one, and we can see now that, uh-oh, the face, look at that. Moving the mouth. Let's not do that. All right, so what we want to do then is make sure that everything is within its own gravitational pull here. This one doesn't need any. This is the gravity that tells you how long it is. So I'm going to do that because what I'm going to do instead... Oh my goodness, telephone. Please go silent. Here we go. I will instead take this and bind the layer to that bone and come back here to the torso. Select these points. Ah, not that. There we go. And bind the points to that. Oh. Well, so you can see sometimes it takes a while to get something done because you just don't know exactly what you're doing. Back to the torso. Back to that, find the layers. There we go. Now they are stuck. And hopefully the mouth will not move, but the entire head. Let me move this. Yes, there we go. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. So we got Mickey Mouse. I mean, we got this now. So if we decided to move these things like so, and I'll bind those other ones in just a moment. And then come back this way. And do this. You see we've animated a little bit of an angry guy there. Now this background, it's gonna be pulling double duty. So let me just do this real quick. I'll save. Because you got to save often. Is going to be pulling double duty as the front counter. So now we have Felix behind the counter running a grocery store and being angry about it, which is what we're going to see in Empire of the Sun. But let's go ahead and make sure that these arms are also attached to this particular bone. And go to arm 1. And find that layer here. Boom. Boom. Now the arms move with the body. You saw them before, they weren't doing that. He could be doing a rap, I guess. Could be singing some kind of rap song. Maybe some Eminem is playing over the loudspeaker in the store. But as a cat, running a cat store, when Mickey the Mouse, who we will be calling Steamboat Willie, comes into the store, lo and behold, to his surprise, he will not be allowed entry. No mice allowed in a cat store. So, again, comedy will ensue. But that's the gist of how I rig up the characters for this. If anybody's got any questions, let me know in the comments. See if I can do my best to answer them. This is going to take a little bit of a while to put these things together and create that. I'll also have to be adding the sound effects, the boinks, and the music, and come up with those things. And there's a couple of jokes in here you may not be able to see. Let me see if I can stop this real quick. And I'll zoom in real quick here. And then I'll preview it so you get the cleaner one. Let's just do this. Here we go. Can't really see it, but it says flavor 24 frames per second. That's how many frames per second it's going to be, the film. And over here we've got specially molded cheese. Tastes real. It's kind of a play on all the artificial cheeses we see out there. This says table fruits. I always have fruit on my table in the living room where people can just pick up stuff like that. And, you know, there's lots of little gags like that that'll be throughout the whole thing. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't bring this down where you could see it. Look at that. Here we go. Flavor, 24 frames. Tastes real. Most cheeses do. And table fruit right there. And this says edible stuffs because there's a lot of edible stuffs out there. Oh, hello, Robert. We're glad you made it. We were just going over some of the things I have hidden inside the... oh, you still can't see it. Oh, my goodness. Let me try this. Share screen, select the window. There it is. There we go. Now you can see it. Okay. Some of the gags here, Robert, everybody was trying to look at these, but I wasn't showing them really well. This says edible stuffs. So Felix the cat is selling edible stuffs. And if you're wondering where the fruit on people's tables go, they come from here. 24 frames per second. That's what we're going to be doing this as. And cheese, baked cheeses, taste real. So there you have it. And question, do you play Pizza Tower? I have not played Pizza Tower. I've seen people play it. I love the squash and stretch animation that they use for it. I always thought as a child when games came of age that they would take on that 24 frame per second look of cartoons. So yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought video games would look like. They would look like cartoons, and some of them do, some of them don't. Oh, here we go. Do you enjoy playing Pizza Tower there, Robert? I'm sure that you do. So you can see, I've clipped out the whole thing here so that you can pan around with it and use this front part as a layer above the character layer above the background layer. Oh, good. I hope that means that you do enjoy it, because it looks like a mighty fun game. But yeah, that's about it. Maybe maybe I'll go ahead and rig a tail while I got you guys here. Let's do that. Let's create a new vector layer. Let's sample this color because we want the color to be exactly the same. Sample the outline color as well. Come over here and we'll grab a shape. And we'll call this the tail right here. This lower part of the tail that attaches to the body, we're going to want that to be a little bit thinner. So we'll bring that in. And here at the top, we will want to add another little junction there to show the end of the tail. And we'll increase the roundness, just like so. Okay, so there we have it. The only problem is, where is it going to bend? Well, let's add some more points. And these will be the joints by which the tail will bend. Now we can use this as a guideline to put the bones in. Boop. Boop. And that will help us maneuver the tail. So we'll come back to the top here. We'll select this main bone again, so that it'll attach to it. And now let's add some points here. And there we have it. Now let's just make this a little bit dynamic here. I'll select that bone at the tip. We'll give it constraints that it can only go so far, and we will allow it to bend within that. Let's let it be manipulated by the wind so that it blurs like that. So, again, we're having that interesting issue. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's go back here. You see, this is not inside the bone layer, but now it is. And since it's in the bone layer now, you see it works. It moves. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the second part down here. Let me select that. We'll also add the bone constraints. Angle. This time we'll add a little scale to it. Yes, Bry. It shows you the red shows you that it's the one selected. The blue one shows you the one connected to it, and the sort of mauve-colored, fleshy tone there that lets you know that it moves all on its own. But the others are able to move freely on their own as well. I mean, not freely on their own, but you're able to position those. But now with scale, it's going to allow it to go up and down this way. Take a quick look real quick. It's being affected by the top layer being blown in the wind. But it itself is not being blown in the wind. If it was to be moved, then it would be affected by that. So let's come over here And which one is it? No, that's not the one. Nope, that's not the one either. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bone right here at this point. Wrong one. Again. Wrong one. Which one is it? My goodness. All right. Yeah. I am going to figure this out. But let's do this while we're at it. Let's make sure that we're only giving this the strength it needs to move the section that it has. Yeah, okay, good. Manipulate bones. That's the wrong one. Trying to manipulate it. Trying to move the bone. No? 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 No, that is still not it. It's not a Vitruvian bone. It's not a sketch bone. Offset bone? That's it. That's it right there. So we'll put it right about here. Oh, that's a little too long, isn't it? Let's put it a little bit lower. And over here, this is where we will maneuver the tail. And over here, we'll swing it this way. And then over here, let's do that. Then I'll copy this and we'll place it over here. And then we'll cycle this. I'll right click on this, click on cycle. That will bring it back to the keyframe number 2, which is right over here, and start the whole cycle over again. And having those two at the end be dynamic means that if it was faster or quicker, they would kind of whip around and give it a little more life without having to do the animating yourself by hand. Matter of fact, let's try that. Let's bring this over to 12. Bring this one back to 24. It kind of looks like a little bit of an angry cat. Anyway, you get the idea of what's going on here. So I think with that, I'm going to save and wrap this up. I'm glad you guys were here to watch me learn how to do this with the cat, and gives you an idea of how we're going to be making Felix join Mickey Mouse in Empire of the Sun. I think maybe next week we should probably rig Oswald the Rabbit for his place in the story as well, because he's got an interesting role to play as well. So, but we'll be talking about that at a different time. Bryce says, yeah, it looks good moving independently from the body. Mm-hmm. And since it is attached to the entire body, let's see. Let's do this real quick. Start here. We can move the whole thing from over here to over here. Let's see. Let's focus so we can see it. Yep. You can see where we're moving it back and forth. And then over here, we can bring him back. And he will be pacing back and forth. So he's trying really, really hard to keep an eye on the store now. Maybe some kids have come in and started, shoplifting, like a flash mob has come in. Who knows? I'm not sure I know right now at this point. Well, that's an interesting question. Right now, I believe this whole thing is probably set at 32 frames per second. The face is using switches, so they cut really quickly. They're not, they don't have any in-betweens to set them, to ease them in. And I did that intentionally because the old cartoons were a little more jumpy like that. But if I can zoom in here real quick, you can see when his head turns. Let me hang on a second. Let me back out of here real quick. Come to the very beginning, and we will just stop his movement altogether, so I can show you there, Bri. When the head turns, the rest of the head reacts to the movement in the same way that the tail, the tips of the tail reacts. So it actually moves at the same speed as the tail does. It's just that their movements are not as drastic. Actually, we can make those tail movements a little more drastic. Let me back up here and do that. We'll select this tail and go to the bone constraints and increase the spring a little bit more. Leave the dampening the way it is. Do the same with this one. Ah, that didn't do anything, did it? Let's choose this tail now. Bring the dampening down to about 50%, 0.5. Still not flipping everywhere, is it? Let's add one more bone. Boom. 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 Well, that did something. It's bendy, 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 but it's still stiff on the end. I don't understand that. Kind of looks like a bullwhip. Well, I'll have it figured out by the time we render this thing out. So let me do this real quick. If you missed it, this is the demo reel we got.
If you live in any of these 5 states, the government is trying to hide this from you. Affordable 2D animation is available right now.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you see whenever somebody's doing computer animation and they're working things out. It always winds up freaking out. Sometimes you see that kind of thing in games when things are not really dialed in. You'll see the games freak out. I think WWE 2K had some issues like that where the faces were just wigging out at certain points in the game, or a character would get halfway clipped through some of the ring ropes and things like that. So yeah, it's always interesting working with computers. That would not happen if I was hand drawing this frame by frame, of course. Ooh, FIFA does it too. I was unaware of that. I don't play FIFA, so that's news to me. But hey guys, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Glad you guys were here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if this is the sort of thing you want to see more of as we get closer and closer to working through Empire of the Sun. A good way for me to know about it is if you give this a like and a thumbs up on whatever social media you happen to be watching that on. If you're joining on Twitch, if you're joining on YouTube, if you're joining on the Rosales Tunes X account where we're streaming this live. I know you can't comment there, but you can always thumbs up the stream as it winds up being there, and sharing it with your friends. That's always a help to get better eyes on the thing. So thank you very much. And hey guys, have a great Saturday. And for those of you who are really interested in the Sunday wrap up, we'll be doing that again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. So take care, guys.